Tom, you're up. Wait, are you a one? Or are you with Tom?
Doing the slides.
Oh, I like it. Look at this. We got a pair of fools up here.
Woo! What's
All
up,
right.
guys? I'm
Go.
Tom Lehman, one of the co-founders of Rap Genius. I'm also the CTO, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about Hyperlayers. WHOOSH! A new hope for caching personalized content. All right, so caching is a pretty big meme, huh? You guys feel me? Give it up for caching. Makes your app fast. It's great. Here is an example of a template you might want to cache, the Rap Genius song page. And if you're using a modern caching technique, which I'm sure you guys all call generational caching, you're going to deal with cache expiration by just having this cleverly constructed cache key. So you throw the song updated at in the cache key, and you don't have to worry about expiring the cache manually. So generational caching, it's great, but it's not so great when the page has a lot of personalized per-user content. So in this example, we're putting an edit link on the song page only for users who have permission to edit that song. And so this messes up that caching situation we had before because you can't share cache versions of the song page between users. So now you need to have two versions of the cache, and those need to be different based on whether the edit link is there. So what do? Well, a naive solution is just to add, the per-user permission to the cache key. So in this case, we'd put whether the current user can edit the song right there in the cache key, and this will give correct results, but it limits the effectiveness of caching. And this just gets worse and worse as you start to put more and more user-specific stuff in the cache key. And before long, you're totally hosed. Caching is broken. So obviously, this naive approach is not going to work. How do you fix it? Well, there are a couple approaches. One approach, advocated by DHH at last year's RailsConf, is basically client-side customization. So you send each client the same rendered HTML, and thereby allow each client to share the same cache key and cache version, but then on page load, you go in with JavaScript, and you basically remove all the stuff the client isn't permissioned to see. And so this isn't a great technique. For one thing, you've got this JavaScript that's going in and doing all this like minutia, and that's a little bit complicated. But on a more fundamental level, you are giving each client the same rendered HTML. And so this is fine if there's just an edit link in there that a client might not want to see, but it's not fine if there's truly confidential data. So you can't, if you have a user's email address, you can't remove that client side with JavaScript. You just can't send it over the wire to the user at all. So that's a little messed up, not so great. Another solution to this, which was also presented at RailsConf in response to DHH's, is this idea of client-side templating, which you guys have probably heard of. This is YCAT's solution to this problem. And so this simplifies the JavaScript considerably and gives you a nice-looking template. But the problem here is that now the client has to know all it needs to know to answer any permission question about a template. So in this context, the client has to know current user can edit the song. And that might depend on a bunch of different things. So making your client smart enough to know all this permission stuff is complicated, and so I don't like this solution either. So the good solution, which I like, what I'm talking about today, is Hyperlayers. And this is Hyperlayers. So the idea behind Hyperlayers is it splits up your app's rendering into two passes, or layers. In the first pass, which is illustrated by these arrows on the screen here, you take the ERB template on the left and render it to the ERB template on the right. And what we've done is we've rendered to HTML all of the non-user-specific content. So the song's title is now rendered as Hey There Delilah. The song's processed lyrics are the lyrics. So this is my favorite song. And all of the non-user-specific content in general is rendered to HTML. But the user-specific content, in particular this edit link, which we've wrapped in this hyperlayer do block, is rendered instead to customization instructions, which is, in this case, ERB. So we render the ERB template on the left into the ERB template on the right, and then we cache the ERB template on the right. Now, when the client requests the web page, we pull that rightmost ERB template out of the cache, and that ERB template is pretty cooked, almost mostly filled in with actual data. The only thing that remains is the user customization part. So we evaluate the remainder of the ERB, customize it for that user, and send it down the wire. And so the beauty here is that, again, all users share the same cache key and cache version. Cache key is the simple one, again, at the bottom. So it's super performant from a cache perspective. And all users only get exactly the data they are permissioned to see. So that is Hyperlayers, the best way to have effectively cached per-user customized content. Now, Hyperlayers is very important. One thing is more important than Hyperlayers today, and that is the Rap Genius RubyConf party. So if you guys are down to party, give it up. This is a caching-themed party, so you should show up dressed as your favorite caching concept, a sweeper, or a generate. And so it's going to be at this address, bit.ly/RubyConf-party. We're going to be installing Hyperlayers on anyone's app. You just come check it out. There's a pool. It's going to be great. Hit me up. Show me love. Tom@rapgenius.com. 305-281-0228. 5 minutes on the dot. Rap Genius out. Peace.